Hello, all. In my ongoing examination of 1970s dystopian science fiction movies, we come to another one of my particular favorites, 1973's Westworld, both written and directed by Michael Crichton, who gave us, amongst other things, Jurassic Park and also The Andromeda Strain, and a number of other terrific novels and movies. Um, Westworld stars James Brolin, Richard Benjamin, Yul Brenner, and Linda Gay Scott, and a few others. It's really an interesting story. I remember being very interested to go see it when I saw the ads for it. I was 14 when it came out, and my friend Alan and I used to love going to these dystopian science fiction movies, and we'd wait for them to come out with great anticipation. And this one was a particular favorite. Uh, I'm not going to discuss the HBO series. That's something totally different. But this is the genesis of it, and also somewhat of a precursor to the Terminator, if you look at it that way. In that the character of a relentless robot is as played by Yul Brenner is pretty much the same. Um, Westworld is about a future in which there is a resort called Delos, and it's located on an island. And for $1 million, visitors can choose one of three fantasies. There's Westworld, Medieval World, and Roman World, all of which where they can experience these different time periods. Uh, Most popular being Westworld, which is based on sort of the Hollywood version of the Wild West. Not anything like what the real Wild West was like, but the Hollywood version where the people have gunfights out on the street and bar fights, and there's dance hall girls and various entertainments. A wimpy guy gets to be sheriff, and you know uh, people get to live out their fantasies. And as I said, Richard Benjamin and James Brolin play two businessmen who have booked a trip to Westworld, and they go over on this very sophisticated hovercraft and are escorted into Westworld, where they're given Western clothing, and they're given six shooters. Which one interesting aspect: the six shooters will not shoot anything that's warm. You can only shoot robots because they're cold. They don't have a blood pressure system, a circulatory system. So if you point at another human, it won't do anything. But if you point at a robot, it'll shoot. And they get into a bar fight, and they challenge the quote unquote gunslinger, who is played brilliantly by Yul Brynner as this kind of badass sort of a combination of Lee Van Cleef in for a few dollars more, and other Western bad guy types. And he just they get to gun him down. And of course, late at night, when the guests are asleep, the staff comes around and they gather up all these robots and repair them for the next day. And there's even a scene where they go to bed with these two dance hall girls, and James Brolin can't believe that the girl he slept with was actually a robot, but it turns out she was. And then slowly, things start to go wrong. A maintenance worker somewhere out on the perimeter is bitten by a robotic rattlesnake, and that's not supposed to happen. And even though it doesn't have any venom, he's still bitten and hurt, and things start to break down, um, and ultimately everything basically goes haywire. What is referred to, and I believe that this is actually the first time that this term is used, is the term computer virus. One of the technicians says there's something strange going on with the algorithms of these robots, and that it's like a virus. I don't think they actually use the term computer virus, but he said it's like a virus spreading. They try to fix it, and they're working on ways to correct these programs, which are minor at first, like a girl in Medieval World refuses to sleep with a guest and slaps him in the face, and won't go to bed with him, and she's quote unquote a sex model and won't have sex with him. And then somebody in Roman world, I think, one of the robots starts strangling somebody, and they won't let up, and so things are going from bad to worse. The staff is trying to fix this, and they're working on the computer systems and and things just kind of cascade. And finally, James Brolin again has a gunfight with Yul Brenner's gunslinger, but he's actually shot. He's killed because the gunslinger's gun now will fire at human beings, and now he starts coming after uh, the other guy who gunned him down, which is Richard Benjamin, and relentlessly pursues him, throughout all three of the habitats, and just basically cannot be stopped. Uh, for some reason, well, again, the reason is because he's a robot. So even though Benjamin shoots him, he doesn't stop him because he's not human. He can't be killed, and he just keeps coming and coming. He pours acid on him, and all that does is melt away his face, so he looks horrible, like a kind of a skeleton. And he's still coming. He's relentlessly coming after him, and just will not stop. And that again is very, very reminiscent of the Terminator. In that, again, even the character Kyle says at one point, "It absolutely will not stop until you are dead." He says that to Sarah Connor. Well, that's the same thing in Westworld. But many, many years earlier, this is 1973, and Terminator is 1984, 88, I guess. So, the this is definitely the predecessor. There's some interesting direction. The sets are fantastic. The acting is very good, particularly by Yul Brynner, as this, guns. Just he's only called the gunslinger, and he just does a great portrayal of this absolutely ruthless robot who will not stop for anything. He's determined, he's going to get this guy who shot him, and at all costs. And again, I won't spoil the ending for you, but it's again somewhat similar to what happens in the Terminator. Um, just a kind of a parable of what might happen if people rely a bit too much on technology for entertainment purposes, which I think is kind of rather way ahead of its time. Very well worth watching. I highly recommend it.